Hey everyone, you can call me Jake and welcome back to another Pokemon Go PvP video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the 108 person NYC Sinister Cup tournament, which is my largest tournament so far out of the entirety of the PvP scene. It is quadruple the size of my previously largest tournament. And this is going to be a really hype video, guys, but it's also going to be very long because every single trainer wanted to play out the final game. In case of a 2-0, every single trainer wanted to play the last game. So please, if you have the attention span, try to watch the entire video as I commentate my games and go over my strategy and my thought process around each battle. And yeah, if you guys are new here and you enjoy this type of content, you enjoy these recap videos of my tournaments, or you would like to get a head start on the metas and see what teams people are running, please don't forget to smash that subscribe, smash the like, leave a comment down below. And if you like to support extra, you can hit my Twitter with a follow, my Twitch with a follow. And if you would like to support just above and beyond, guys, I do have a Patreon. If you like the content around here and you find it helpful in your tournaments, you are completely free to support me directly on Patreon. I'll leave all those links right down below in the description so you guys can check them out if you would like. Any and all support is very appreciated, guys. So without further ado, let's jump into round one of this 108 person tournament. So guys, in round number one, we are up against our opponent JD426, as his name is in the tournament bracket. And my team, I'm going to go over it real quick, is Mawile with Bite, Power Up, Punch, and Play Rough. Lugia with Extra Sensory, Sky Attack and Hydro Pump. Bastiodon with Smackdown, Stone Edge, and Flamethrower. Medicham with Counter, Dynamic Punch, and Psychic. Poliwrath with Bubble, Hydro Pump, and Power Up Punch. And then the Dusclops with Hex, Fire Punch, and Shadow Punch. So I'm really used to saying Medicham with Power Punch, Ice Punch, but I'm not running that set. I'm running it completely as a fighter, as a fighting user with the nuke move. With the nuke moves, I should say, with Psychic. It pairs really well. And even though I can't Power Up Punch my way through Pokemon anymore, I'm completely fine with dropping that move to add the other moves into its pool. So a really nice change up. And then for the actual nuke fighter, we're going to be running Poliwrath with the Power Up Punch and the Hydro Pump nuke. A powered up Hydro Pump can pretty much one-shot almost everything in the entire meta. If it's two powers up, 2 tiers up I should say, it'll one-shot literally everything. So really a really strong pick for this cup. And I'm running the Bubble variant instead of Mudshot because it's a little bit less expected. People expect Hydro Pump on the other quick move variant. And yeah, so against JD, we're going to be hopping into this first round right now. You guys could see his in-game name there. So yeah, we're going to be leading the Dusclops and he leads Poliwrath. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, his team is Alola Marowak, Poliwrath, Frostlass, Claydol, Steelix, and Drifblim. So we know that Alola Marowak here is a very good either switch-in or lead, as he is pretty much a safe switch-in in this meta. He's probably the safest switch-in, unless they're carrying a Bastiodon. But if I don't see Bastiodon, I'm going to use him as a lead or a safe swap. So he's okay with staying in this. We notice the shiny is pretty sweet. He's going to hit us with the powered up Ice Punch, which is the right play. But we have the bulk to easily handle that. And he does actually block the third Shadow Punch, or second, whichever one that was. Yeah, those bubbles are starting to hurt quite a bit because they are powered up 2 or 3 times at this point. But we are able to win the opening lead, and he brings in Drifblim to get off 1 Hex, and this is where we bring in Mawile, and this thing is gonna shred. Look at that damage, guys. Oh, it's nasty. Mawile is nasty in this cup. He does hit us with the Shadow Ball. I was expecting a bait there, but it was not a bait. So we're going to go for the Power Up Punch just to boost our bets a little bit more, and we are able to feint it right before we get feinted ourselves. So in comes Steelix, and this is the exact matchup you want with your Poliwrath. This matchup is better with Bubble, I believe, because it is doing a lot more damage than Mudshot variant. And at this point in time, we should be safe here, but the thing is, he's going to get us with the Crunch Bait, and now it's going to get real close because he may be able to get to an Earthquake at this point in time, because he charged up to pretend it was an Earthquake, and he got us with the bait. And this first game is going to be so close. In comes the Earthquake, and wow, we are able to survive that with about 5 HP or less, and we get off the Power Punch to feint his Steelix. I believe one more Dragon Tail and we would have died there. We got that Power Punch right before his Dragon Tail damage came through, as you saw. As you saw his Steelix move, like its head down as if it's like chomping or whatever the animation is. We got the Power Punch off right before he got that last Dragon Tail. So really, really close game. His bait nearly worked out there. So GG, and let's jump into game number 2. So in this game, guys, we're going to be leading with Bastiodon. And the reason behind that is because we don't expect him to lead a fighter this time, as he led Poliwrath last time, and we get a really solid lead. It is a Alola Marowak, but with the new quick move that is Fire Spin, for the great coverage against Mawile and the other walls like Steelix. This makes his matchups a lot more close against things like Bastiodon, as you can see, and also Steelix. And it's able to win the one shield against Mawile, as well as all shields down. So that makes Fire Spin, Alola Whack a lot more of a popular ghost. And so here he decides to actually completely drop Switch Advantage and switch into his Poliwrath. And we do get a lot of chip damage in. And this is where we bring in our Medicham, because we figured that Medicham has some solid matchups against his Steelix, against even his Frostlass, as long as we don't get baited, or as long as we block the Shadow Ball, and against the Poliwrath, since we do have 2 solid moves against it. One super effective and then the other neutral. And so here we decide to let it go and give up our Switch Advantage. So now we have to swap into him, but at the cost of 2 shields from his side. And this is where this Dusclops shines. He brings in his Alola Whack. I'm not too sure why. Just gave me a free X worth of energy. And then in comes Steelix in the back. But we have a ton of energy ready to go. And these Fire Punches are going to deal a... Let's see here. A pretty decent amount of damage, probably about 25% per Fire Punch, maybe a little less, maybe about 20%. But yeah, in the end, we're going to be able to out spam him because of that lead we got earlier on. But he is able to get off one more Hex, or not Hex, one more Crunch, and that brings us pretty low, but we are able to just kill his Steelix with a Hex. So very GG's, and we take round number 1-2-0, guys, against a pretty highly skilled opponent, and we are going to play it out in match number 3. So let's jump right into that. So jumping into the third game of round 1, we lead Mawile and he leads Frostlass. So you know, this is a complete guess lead. I thought maybe because he hadn't played it the entire series, maybe he'd open a Ghost again, and he does. And we do correctly block the Shadow Ball, which prompts him to switch out immediately into Steelix. But again, Medicham is a complete wall to the walls, I should say. And yeah, we know we can overfarm this a ton, and we are counting all these matches, guys. I made sure to come into season 2 really hot. I made sure to practice hundreds of times. I've probably done about 300 plus games of this cup in preparation for this tournament, and I made sure my counting was top tier and my farming was also top tier. So really good turn out for this tournament. You guys will know the score at the end of the video, so please, if you would like, keep watching, you can. And this is where the cheese from Play Rough comes in, guys, because most people will expect Power Up Punch, but if you're counting, you would know this is a Play Rough, but bam, we get him with the Play Rough through his shield, and all he has left is that Frostlass, and we will tear through that thing, and we finish off game number 3 with a shield remaining on both sides, and we finish round number 1 3-0. So really well played, JD. And let's jump into round number 2. Alright guys, so jumping into round number 2, we're going to be facing off against a player from Boston. He lives in the same state as me. He's from the Boston community, which is a pretty solid sized group with a lot of high competitors, one of them being Shmusif, the world champion for the NA region. We're going to be facing off against Dunebug97, and his team is going to be Alola Whack, Steelix, Poliwrath, Medicham, Gallade, and the Dusclops. So we're going to approach this how we always do. We're going to analyze his team, and we see that Poliwrath is a somewhat okay lead. It has positive matchups against 3 out of the 6. It has the Mirror, and then it has Gallade and Medicham, which are the bad matchups. So against the Dusclops, if you are able to land the Hydro Pump, you should be okay. But if you do not have Hydro Pump, then it's not the best matchup for you. But in this mirror match, we are going to bait with the Power Up Punch, pretending it's going to be a Hydro Pump, and we do get him right here. This is where this matchup is going to be in my favor, because considering he hasn't hit us with a bulky move, we're going to go for the Hydro Pump, and we're going to assume he does not block this, and he doesn't. So we get him, but we also expose the fact that we have Hydro Pump, and we are actually bringing in Lugia in this line of 3, which was a good pick initially, guys, but you're gonna see what happens here. So it's the mirror match. All you can do here is go for Shadow Punches, and since we decided not to run 2 fighters, you guys are gonna see what happens here. So he has the energy, and then he switches into Steelix, and this is where I knew that I had almost 0 chance to win this, because I have Lugia in the back, and Lugia has 2 awful matchups against both of these Pokemon. So all I can really do here is let Lugia try to shield bait the Steelix, and then even after that, we have to get rid of his Ghost. So it's a huge uphill battle from here, and those crunches do a lot of damage. So we're going to pretend to go for a Hydro Pump, hit the bait with Sky Attack. Can we get it? Yes, we can, but at this point in time, there's no way we're going to get to another Hydro Pump. And to secure this game, he switches into his Dusclops, which then we have to go for Sky Attack because, well, you're going to see here, he has the energy, so I wouldn't even have been able to get to Hydro Pump. But that Shadow Punch is going to pretty much fate me. We are able to kill his Dusclops, but his Steelix is waiting in the back. So GG's. In game number 1 of round 2, I decided to not run the double fighter, and well, the mirror match wasn't the best for me because he had Steelix in the back, and I didn't have a solid counter to it. But yeah, let's jump into game number 2. So jumping into game number 2, we're gonna be leading with the Dusclops, and because that is another safe lead. And he leads Poliwrath again, so really liking the Poliwrath leads. And the funny thing is, guys, I brought Lugia again in this lineup, but I did not lead with it because, well, he has 2 Ghosts and he has Steelix, and I've noticed lots of people in this cup really enjoy leading Ghost and Steelix, mostly because their coverage is just amazing. So, but this time we do have our fighter in the back. He does go for the powered up Ice Punch there. That's completely okay with me. We're going to beat him to his next charge move with our Shadow Punch. And he does decide to block. And here I also decide to block, even though it's power up punch. We are able to get to our next charge move, which is Shadow Punch, and that's going to be a KO onto the Poliwrath, and he brings in his own. He does have a slight energy advantage, and I'm in a spot again where I have to go in with the Lugia because I know he most likely has Steelix in the back again this time. Because it seems like he's running the same exact line, so we have to keep the Poliwrath for that matchup, and he's going to hit us with back-to-back Shadow Punches. And then he makes a great switch into his Steelix right as we fire off our Sky Attack, which was the winning play for him in this game. You guys are going to witness how and why in a second here. Because we wasted all that energy, we won't be able to come back in with our Lugia in the end game with energy against his Dusclops. So we block this thinking, well, it might be an Earthquake, it might not. Either way, we pretty much have to block. And there, I'm not really sure what happened. Oh, no, I undertapped it on purpose so I could get more energy. And here we have no shields, but we still have a chance because we have to bait him. That's the only way. So we're going to go for the Power Up Punch. We get the bait. It's perfect. But unfortunately, he does beat us to the Hydro Pump with another Shadow Punch. And oh man, we are only 2 bubbles away. And then our Lugia comes back in, and he already has nearly enough energy for another Shadow Punch. As you can see, 2 more hexes from him, and that Shadow Punch will KO our Lugia. So yeah, that was the winning play for him there. His Steelix absorbs that Sky Attack. If we hadn't used it, we could have used it right there, and that would have 100% killed his Dusclops. So really well played from him. He does beat us 2-0, but I want to at least try to get 1 win off him, and let's see if we can do that right now. So in the third game, we're going to be going with the double fighter strat. You know, thinking, you know, he's ran Steelix every game, right? And he finally brings out his Gallade in the lead, and it catches us off guard completely. I asked him afterwards, why wouldn't he run that in the first 2 games? Because, you know, if you see 2 fighters, you're going to run a counter, right? But he apparently thought his Dusclops was a solid counter towards the fighters, which it is. But I knew to not run Medicham. I was expecting Gallade, and Lugia has a great matchup against it. But yeah, we're going to just let the Gallade kill us, and we're going to bring in our Lugia. He does have the 2 shield advantage over our 1 shield. Let's see what he does bring in here. He brings in his Steelix again. And this time we're going to go for the bait, actually. And let's see if we do get it. We do, so that's at least somewhat good for us. It means we could potentially land this Hydro Pump. But we are going to go for the Hydro Pump and hope it does not get shielded, which it does. So really interesting by him. And we switch into our Poliwrath, and he switches into his Clops. All we can do here is go for the Power Punch Hydro Pump, which should be able to KO his Clops. And it's going to be a race. We're hoping he doesn't get off another Shadow Punch, but he does. But that's fine. We could tank it. But the main issue here is our HP. So we are going to get off the Hydro Pump, which was boosted. So obviously it's going to be a KO. And then he brings in his Steelix, which has some energy loaded. Obviously we have to block this. But we are not going to be able to make it to Hydro Pump. We can't even get to our Power Up Punch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's over. Yeah, Lugia is against his Steelix. This is a lost game here. So GG's in those 3 games. We do lose round 2, 0-3. So very well done by the Boston player. And yeah, our main mistake there was purely bringing in Lugia in our 3. If we ran 2 fighters, we would have been able to have those matches. I 100% I 100% believe that the double fighter strat there would have worked. Because, well, simply because of the fact that Poliwrath can handle the ghosts. And Medicham can handle the Steelix, obviously, really easily. Bringing in Lugia there was not the best option. I just figured, I figured he wouldn't lead fighters. Thing is how I have Lugia, I have Medicham, and I also have the Dusclops, but it is what it is. We do lose round 2, but we're going to try to swing this back throughout the rest of the tournament. Alright guys, so jumping into round 3 of this 108-man tournament, we're going to be going up against I Play Harmonies, and his team is going to be Medicham, Poliwrath, Steelix, Clops, Drifblim, and Gallade. So very much like our last opponent. We're going to be leading here with Lugia. We have our Dusclops as our swap, and then we have Medicham in the back for whatever else he has. So jumping into game number 1. It's a Lugia versus a Dusclops lead, flexing that sweet shiny, and we know this is a really bad matchup for us, but we're gonna stay in here. We're gonna let him fire off that first Shadow Punch, and we're gonna try to play this one out, because this matchup isn't actually as bad as you guys would think. As you can see, those Sky Attacks do chunk away quite a bit of health from the Dusclops. We are going to decide to block the follow-up Shadow Punch, and he does use his shield on our Sky Attack, which is good. I believe we don't block this. No, we do not. We preserve that last shield for whatever's in the back, and we bring in the mirror match so that we can farm it down with Hex. We're both running Hex. He is able to get off that Shadow Punch, but it's really not that big of a deal in the moment. We are getting a little bit of lag, and then he brings in that sweet shiny Steelix. So flexing those shinies real hard on me right now. But the thing is, I have the energy advantage. And I also have the Medicham in the back, which we're going to switch into right now. And he makes a really good responsive switch into his Poliwrath. But the thing about this is I have the Psychic, and this is going to deal a lot of damage. One-shot KOing the Poliwrath. And in comes his Steelix once again. We are going to block that Crunch. And he is able to get to one final move right before we finish the game. And it is an Earthquake, which could have been really scary. But as you guys know, we have a bulky fighter that is Medicham, which can eat an Earthquake from full HP really well. So GG's in game number 1. Let's jump into game number 2. So jumping into game number 2 against I Play Harmonies, we're going to be leading with Dusclops, and he leads Steelix. So this isn't the worst matchup. It's not a winning one. Well, depending on shields. If I don't block both crunches, I do lose. So, but it's a good sign he doesn't block the first Fire Punch, because I think we do block this. Yes, we do. And obviously, all you need to do against this matchup is go Fire Punch and hope they don't block. Hope you get the switch advantage, but he does. So, smart play. We obviously know Crunch is coming. We decide to not shield. And he does make a really weird switch into his own Dusclops, which means we're going to bring in our Mawile. And we see that Mawile has some okay matchups against things like his Dusclops, Drifblim, and his Gallade. It does get walled quite hard by Poliwrath and Medicham, but its fast moves do really add up after you power them up. So this Mawile is going to work at the moment. We are almost able to feint his Dusclops, which actually was a really good thing for us because he obviously had no idea, but we had Medicham in the back. So him swapping out from Steelix into his Dusclops put us in a really good spot. Because he brings in Steelix again, and I'm going to bring in Medicham. And this time he smartens up. He does not have Poliwrath, guys. So we're going to go for the huge shield bait here with Dynamic Punch. And he doesn't shield. So really smart play by him. Really good prediction there, and he hits us with the psychic, which puts us very, very behind. And we know this is a power up punch because we're counting. We know we can't get to a psychic that quickly once again, but all we can do now is go for the dynamic punch, and we bring out our Dusclops, which will be able to feint this Medicham. But he does have Steelix in the back with quite low HP. One fire punch could feint it, but we just don't have enough health to get to another one. And he's going to finish us off with a Dragon Tail. So GG is in game 2. Pretty close game there. Let's see if we can adjust and win game number 3. Alright, so jumping into game number 3. Let's see how we do. Let's see what he leads. So again, guys, this was a super high competition tournament. The NYC community was absolutely amazing for hosting this. This was one of my goals for the start of season 2 was to play in a large tournament. This was by far my largest tournament ever. 108 competitors, lots of top players there. Valor-Ash, House Stark, Toshi, a lot of players from the Pokemon Go League, PGBL. A lot of people repping from other areas, Boston. Yeah, this was a super high competition tournament, so I'm really, really proud of how I played today. And you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about by the end of the video. So even though we lost round 2, we are still in it for a possible tie. And yeah, in this matchup, we know Medicham can farm, but we don't want to get hit by an Earthquake. So we're just going to go for the Killing Blow. And he does block, which is good. Really, really good for us. Because we do draw out his last shield. And we're thinking it's probably an Earthquake. I mean, yeah. And at this point, we know we can farm him down. We're counting. He's not going to get to another Earthquake. And now we are loaded on energy. And he brings in that Drifblim, which we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go straight for Psychic, which knocks it out. And then in comes his final Pokemon, which is Medicham. We are going to hit it with Psychic. This is going to be a brutal hit to it. And we're going to bring in our Dusclops with a loaded Shadow Punch. And that's pretty much going to be a wrap. He's able to hit us with a Psychic to end game number 3. Actually, no, it's a Power Up Punch. But our Dusclops is tanky AF, and it's easily able to get rid of that Medicham to win us round number 3. So we take it 2-1 against I Play Harmonies. Very GG's to all my opponents thus far, and let's jump into round number 4. So guys, in round number 4, we are going to be facing off against our opponent Netomek, and he's going to be running Poliwrath, Cham, Steelix, Alolan Whack, Mawile, and Gallade. So let's jump into game number 1. We are going to be leading with Lugia, and he leads Mawile. So awful matchup. We did not have a lot of luck today with Lugia, guys. We always got him matched up in awful positions, and our safe swap here was Dusclops. So we're gonna just go for it, and we're gonna try to burn shields here. That's the main plan for this matchup, is to get the shields out of there. Because shields down to 2 shields in this cup is really, really bad for you, because this cup is all about the baiting, guys, and things like Alola Whack are heavily reliant on baits in order to win its matchups. So being able to just go for those huge charge moves are really, really good when shields are down. And here he decides to swap out into his Gallade, and we saw his Gallade was on his team. That's why we led Lugia. Once again, another 2-fighter and Gallade team, and we lead Lugia, and it's in a bad matchup. But this is a matchup it can straight up farm. We know that. We know Leaf Blades will be resisted, and so will Close Combat. Actually, in fact, it'll be 2 times resisted. And after farming a bunch of energy, we go for the Sky Attack, and we have another Sky Attack ready to go. Onto this Mawile. Going to do a nice bit of damage. It will not KO, but he's going to have to use his charge move here if he wants to survive. but that's okay. We're going to switch out Medicham so he is not able to farm any extra from it. And he brings in his Alola Wax. So this is huge, guys, for us because we have those 2 shields and it's a Fire Spin. So Fire Spin isn't doing super effective like Hex would be, which means we can live a little bit longer. And I don't know why he went for Shadow Ball there. The only way he could have won this is if he hardcore baited me. But we are able to win with a shield in the bank. And we take game number 1 of round 4. So GG's thus far, and let's jump into game number 2. So jumping into game number 2, guys, we're going to be leading with Dusclops, and he leads Steelix. So yet again, this is a pretty even matchup, and actually it's a better matchup because he is running the cheese, guys. Running the fangs of lightning. No, he's running the quick move you want for the Poliwrath matchup, which in fact you can win if you go straight Fang. So that's really, really good for us because it means he is not getting energy as quick as he would say he had Dragon Tail on it. As you can see, the animation is obnoxious there. It's like the sparks all around your screen every single hit, as you can see there. It's kind of annoying, but yeah, I was happy to see that because that gives me the intel that Medicham is the better fighter in this against his team. Even though it does lose harder to Alolan Marowak, it is the overall stronger fighter because of that. So after we finish that off, he brings in Gallade, and you guys know, you guys just saw in round 1, this is a fantastic matchup for Lugia. And it turns out he's not running close combat, which is really weird, but he switches into Mawile, giving up his switch, and we have a nice wall to that right here, being Poliwrath. We know that's not Play Rough because you have a good feel of how long it takes. Play Rough costs about 10 more energy. Or not 10 more. A little bit more than 10 for Play Rough compared to Power Up Punch. But yeah, we know this isn't Play Rough, and we are able to just finish off Mawile. And then in comes the Gallade once again. We have to go for Power Up Punch, otherwise, well, we'd be fainted. And we switch immediately into Lugia, so he can't get single confusion off onto our Poliwrath, and we finish it off with the Sky Attack. We even had another one in the bank in case, so GG's in round 2. We take round 4 2-0, but we are going to play a third match, so let's get right into that. So jumping into this optional game 3, we lead Medicham, and he does lead Mawile. It's a nice little shiny. But he knows this matchup is bad, so he's going to switch out immediately into Gallade. This is what I thought would have happened in round number 2, guys. Most people who use Lugia, or not Lugia, most people who have Gallade in their lineup will use it at some point, especially if they see the matchups. I mean, you look at my team, Lugia has good matchups against 3 out of 6, right? So, you know, you'd think you'd bring in Lugia. Or not, I keep saying Lugia. You'd think you'd bring in the Gallade, but yeah, you don't. So here we're just gonna let this Lugia go. It burned both shields, which is huge. He is going to give up switch advantage again, which is another huge mistake. I don't know why he keeps doing that. All that does is lock himself against my Medicham, which can easily just farm this thing down. And he has no chance at this point. I still have 2 shields. Gallade comes in, we farm it down. All he has left is Mawile, and we're gonna hit it with 2 of these punches. And yeah, this is GG. We still have 2 shields remaining as well, so yep. Down goes Mawile, and we take game number 3. So we win round 4 3-0. Very GG's for you. And let's jump into round number 5. So guys, in round number 5, we have a big one here. We are now 3-1 in the tournament, so we've won the last 2 after our first L. And this one is going to be a really huge round, guys. A lot of you guys know him. A pretty popular player from the Virginia area. That is going to be that boy Muck. So his team is going to be Poliwrath, the Dusclops, Medicham, Steelix, Alola, and Mawile. So I notice we both are running Mawile, and both are running the double fighter strat, but I do not have AWAC and I don't have Steelix. So Bastion is going to be a pretty big no from me in this match. We are going to be running the double fighter strat though, because well, the only thing he has that's stopping it is Alola, Marowak, and Medicham, and that's if he can land those two on the correct matchups. So we know Poliwrath can take care of Mawile, Steelix, Alola, and Dusclops. We know we can mirror with the Dusclops and beat let's see here. We can beat Alola and Medicham, and we know our own Medicham can beat Steelix, Poliwrath, Mawile, and it can mirror the opposing Medicham. So that's why we're running the double fighter strat. Poliwrath is a fighter that is supposed to lose to Ghost, but it wins with the bubble variant and Mud Shot. As long as you have Hydro Pump, it should be able to win. And turns out he actually end up mirroring, but he has a shiny, so obviously he's gonna win this mirror match, right? Because shinies do more damage. But he is actually able to hit us with Psychic, so I was expecting a shield bait, but it was not. So because of that, we're going to shield bait in return, and we do get it. So by counting, we know this is a power punch. We're not going to waste a shield, guys, and now we are going to hit him with the Psychic. So we know his moveset immediately out of the gate: power punch and Psychic. And here we are able to get him down extremely low. So you know what? I'll take it. I'll take I'll give him the switch advantage for the shield. That is completely fine with me, because we still have a fighter in the back, guys. We still have our Poliwrath in case he has Alolan Marowak. And we think he does, because we bring in our Dusclops, which ends up getting us a little bit of an energy advantage against the Steelix. And we know this matchup is completely okay, especially with the energy advantage. And he actually burns both shields so early on in this match. We feel super fine with blocking this first crunch. And then at this point, we decide to switch into our Poliwrath, and he switches in response to his Clops. And this is where we knew the game was over. All we have to do here is land the Hydro Pump after getting the Power Up Punch boost. You don't have to block any of this, guys. Shadow Punch does not threaten Poliwrath whatsoever. All we have to do is get to this Hydro Pump, which we do. This is going to be a huge nuke onto his Dusclops, and then in comes his Steelix, which is able to give us one last crunch, say goodbye. We don't block it. We're playing it safe, and we come in with our Dusclops with the Fire Punch, and that is going to be GG in game number 1 against Muck. A lot of you guys know him. He is a pretty strong player from Virginia, and this is probably one of the most intense best of 3s in the entire tournament. So you guys are going to see what happens here in the next round. So guys, jumping into game number 2, we actually had to replay this round because I had a switch bug. It wouldn't allow me to use a charge move. But yeah, it was a Poliwrath versus Mawile leading game 1. We're running the same teams. Unfortunately, he did see my entire team of 3, but that's okay. Because in this one, we are going to play it a little bit differently. Instead of switching out our Poliwrath, we are going to stay in. Which actually ended up being worse for us in the end, because you're going to see here, I go for so many shield baits with Pup. We did expect him to shield it because, well, he'd give up his Poliwrath counter. So as you can see, I'm just going for Pup after Pup after Pup, trying to get him to shield, thinking it's Hydro Pump, but we end up just letting it go. A bad play by us, honestly. We should have just went Hydro Pump. But I mean, that's how you play this cup, guys. You have to shield bait. And things like Hydro Pump, you definitely want to shield, but he played it super ballsy, and he did not shield, which paid off huge for him because, well, he has the shield advantage, he has a switch advantage, he has everything in his favor to win this game. But we still have Medicham in the back, which is huge because Dusclops here will force the shields out of the Mawile. Big for us. And we're going to immediately switch into our Medicham so he cannot or is not able to farm very much energy from us. At this point in time, we're going to go for the Psychic, which he does block. So if we went the other move, it would have been a positive shield bait. But in the end, it does not work out. But we make some huge brain plays here. We are counting. We do know it's another power-up punch. And now at this point, we know again it's another power-up punch. I don't know why he kept going for them, but he did. So here we are going to overfarm a little bit and go for Psychic for the killing blow. But it is not actually a knockout. But we do get the defense fell. But somehow, some way, in some world, he is able to get his Mawile to KO both my Dusclops and my Medicham with 1 HP. I don't know how he did that, but he did. And that is how game 2 ends in round 5. If our Dusclops was able to get off that Shadow Punch, guys, to KO, I think it would have been game or it would have been a draw. One of the two. Because his Medicham was extremely low, 1 HP. But he is able to clutch out game number 2 in an extremely close game. You guys are about to witness some crazy stuff here in game number 3. We're going to lead Lugia, and he leads Mawile. So you know what I'm going to do here? Switch out immediately into Dusclops, and he makes a reaction switch into Medicham, guys. Which is huge for us because this is a winning matchup, and we got to bait out his fighter. Which is huge. It's huge. In the moment, he knew he screwed up on this, but only the best trainers know how to switch out so quickly, expecting a fighter to come in. Because, I mean, what counters Mawile, right? Fighters. And seeing as how I've been running Poliwrath and Medicham, he swapped immediately into his fighter. But because I made an odd switch that most trainers would not expect, I played it super unpredictable. This was intentional, by the way, guys. I meant to do this. I figured it would maybe catch him off guard, and now we have the 2 shield advantage to his 0 shields. So as long as we don't get our Lugia up against his Mawile, we'll be ready. We'll be fine. We'll be set to go. And he brings in his Dusclops against our Poliwrath. We know we probably shouldn't switch out here. We are going to block the Shadow Punch, and he does get off 1 more, but we're like, you know what? That's okay. As long as we get this Hydro Pump off, it should be a GG in this game. But just to be safe, we go in with our Lugia so that his Mawile can't farm. We know he's currently switch locked still. So at this point, we are going to just farm up. And now he switches into his Mawile, but very bad timing for him because we just get to a Hydro Pump, which will KO the Mawile easily. And then in comes his Dusclops. And we do have a Sky Attack ready, but we're not going to take any risks here. We're going to let it faint, and we do have our Hydro Pump ready to go for his Dusclops. So, really great game and really amazing series against Muck there. One weird switch in that he was not expecting was the reason we were able to take that series. So, very GG's. And we take round number 5 of this 108 player tournament. Alright guys, jumping into round number 5, we're going to be facing off against, or not 5, round number 6, excuse me, we're going to be facing off against our opponent Incanite, and his team is AWAC, Steelix, Poliwrath, Claydol, Haunter, and Empoleon. So immediately, we know Poliwrath here has some really solid matchups. And so does Mawile and Dusclops. So Clops is going to be our safe switching as usual. We realize Mawile has really solid matchups against Hunter, Claydol, and Alolawak, as long as it's not running Fire Spin variant. And it's actually a mirror match, Poliwrath v Poliwrath. And so in this mirror match, my strat with Hydro Pump is to go Power Punch first, then Hydro Pump second. So that's what we're going to do here. And well, we CMP tie, so we know this is a Power Punch, but we do not know its other move. So at this point in time, we know it's another Power Punch. And we are now going to go for our Hydro Pump. And he's just trying to Power Punch us down. So we are going to block. And we're going to actually end up going for a Power Punch instead. So I don't know what I was thinking here. But we do get the bait. So that's what I was thinking. I was trying to get the bait there. At this point, we're just going to let our Poliwrath go. We can't get to another bubble. So we're going to have to just go for Power Punches. We end up losing the mirror, even shields. So did not pay off for us at all there. Which puts us really behind now, actually. At this point in time, he reveals his other move, which is Ice Punch. And that is going to absolutely wreck our Dusclops. And as you guys can see, his Poliwrath is going to work. Like, our Dusclops is almost dead, which is really bad. But at least we know its moveset, so that we can take that into account in the next game. And we do know the Alolawak's moveset now. It is running Fire Spin, which is not good at all for our Mawile. And we are able to bring it down really, really quickly though. But we are forced to use our last shield here. Actually, we don't use our last shield, and it's a Shadow Ball. Which I don't know why he would use a Shadow Ball there. He can just go Bone Club. But yeah, he does end up lagging, but I'm pretty much all done at this point in time. He won this game regardless of that lag, obviously. He had Steelix in the back. And this is where we decide to bring in our fighter strat. So like I said, guys, we're going to be making some adjustments and bringing in the double fighter strat. Since Mawile had very little effect on that game, we're going to drop it because he didn't run Claydol. So we think double fighter is viable here, and he leads Haunter into our Poliwrath. So this is a positive matchup for Poly, as long as we block his the Shadow Punches. And we do block the first one. And Haunter is just so squishy, guys, that bubbles are going to chip away a lot, especially when powered up. So much so that he has to block the Power Up Punch, which is actually huge. So we do actually use both our shields. We could have possibly farmed down, but we're going to play it safe here and bring it down now. We do still have a decent amount of HP, and we have energy for another Power Up Punch, and he brings in a Alolawak. So very interesting play there. He does realize that we are going to chip down, but he makes a big mistake there and blocks the Power Up Punch, probably thinking it was a Hydro. Because as you can see, we pretty much farmed up to just enough for a Hydro Pump. And now he has Alolawak versus my Dusclops. Shields down. This is going to be Shadow Ball, and this is going to hurt a lot. And we immediately have to go for the Shadow Punch to KO. Or well, just about KO. And now to see what he has in the back, it's Steelix. So we're gonna try to switch immediately into our Medicham. A little bit of a rough switch there, but that's okay. He's going to hit us with Earthquake, but I mean, we still have plenty of HP to finish the Steelix off. In comes the D punch. That's what I'll call it for short, and we are going to feint the Steelix down. So really, really solid game there. The main mistake that he made was blocking the Power Up Punch. If he had not blocked that, he could have probably won the game there. But I was able to bait him good. He probably was counting, but that was one away from a Hydro Pump. So really, really close game from me and Inkanite. And let's jump into game number 3. So jumping into the final game of the set to see who takes round 6. We're gonna be leading or not leading. We're going to be running the same strat, but this time we're going to be leading our Medicham, and he leads Haunter, which is an awful matchup. So we're going to safe swap into our Clops, block this Shadow Punch, and he does switch out here, seeing as how we are down a shield now, into a Steelix. But like I say all the time, Dusclops with the shield, with an energy advantage, is very, very strong no matter what the counter, no matter what counter is brought into it. As you can see here, Steelix is already very, very low. We do decide to forego shields there and try to bring this Steelix down as low as I possibly can. And we do expect him to block this next Fire Punch. He does. Fortunately, we can't get to another Shadow Punch to feint Steelix. But we still have our 2 fighters. And we are now at even shields. So we're going to bring in our Medicham. And we just had to not block an instant Earthquake. It does a lot of damage, but we are able to farm up quite a bit. And he brings in his Haunter. And I don't think he's going to expect this Psychic, but he does. And we're going to immediately switch into our Poliwrath. And we do block this, guys, and it's a Shadow Ball. So, huge block by us there. If we didn't block that, it was game over, guys. In hindsight, after the match, he said he should have baited first and then hit me with Shadow Ball. But in the moment, it's very hard to make those choices. And guys, you aren't going to believe what happens here. He brings in a Alolan Whack, and we CMP tie, but I have a Hydro Pump powered up, ready to go, and down goes his Alolan Marowak, and we take round number 6 in a CMP tie win against Incanite. So GG's and very well played, and yeah, that was extremely close. He had a Bone Club ready to go. He was tapping on it, but we got the CMP coin flip there to win round number 6. You love to hit Hydro Pumps when our shields are down. You love it. You love to see it, guys. All right, guys, here it is, the final round. We are now 5-1 in the NYC tournament. 108 people, guys. 5-1 so far. I'm feeling super, super good now. After that first loss, we've swept the opponent so far, and we are on to round number 7, the final round of this tournament, against our opponent, Jam Bebo. And he's going to be running Poliwrath, Steelix, Dusclops, Alolan Whack, Cresselia, and Mawile. So this is actually the first time we've had an opponent all day long that has run a Cresselia. So, based off this, absolutely we're not running Lugia. It has way too many bad matchups. Mawile, Steelix, Cresselia with Aurora Beam, Alola Whack, and Dusclops. So, definitely not. But Bastion here is looking really, really solid. Takes wins against Dusclops, Alola Whack, Cresselia, and potentially Mawile, depending on shields. Yeah, we're going to be running with our Medicham as a lead. Seems like a decent lead. And he leads Cresselia. So, no, this is not a good lead at all. So, immediately we're going to switch into our Dusclops. We definitely don't want to switch lock Bastion, especially thinking he has a fighter. So, this was a solid strat by me. Knowing my matchups and knowing what he possibly has in the back. And another person running the Fang on Steelix. So, yeah, we actually are able to get a shield out of him really, really early on in this matchup. Which makes me feel like I should shield this to potentially get another one. So we do shield. We fire off the Fire Punch. And that Thunder Fang is going to work, but it does take a lot longer to charge up opposed to Dragon Tail. So we are going to be able to hit another Fire Punch, which he blocks. So we get 2 shields out of this, which is actually huge because we needed that shield for Cresselia. And because of this, we're going to be bringing in our Medicham. We do wait down the switch timer, obviously. And at this point, we're just going to farm this down, farm it down, farm it down. And he is not able to get to an Earthquake. He should have went Crunch, but you know what? It's okay. He brings in Cresselia again. And we are going to switch into our Bastiodon. And this is where he makes his big mistake, which apparently he couldn't control because I don't know what glitch happened. He said it was okay. He said we could play it out, he said. So not my fault for not restarting. I asked him, hey, do you want to restart? Because that basically he wanted to save that future sight, but apparently he was not able to. Instead of switching out, it made him use the future sight, but I don't know. But anyways, it's Medicham versus Poliwrath. This is looking pretty solid. We do have a lot of energy loaded. We are able to hit another Psychic onto the Cresselia. This is going to be really, really close, because those confusions are hurting quite a bit. But thankfully, we still have that last shield. He hits us with a Roar Beam, but that is okay. We shield it. And we are able to get to the D-Punch to finish off this Cresselia and take game number 1 of round 7. This was a long tournament, guys. Surprisingly, though, I only had 4 hours of sleep this day, and I wasn't even that tired, to be honest. Lots of people have said it's mentally draining. I felt like I could go 2 more rounds even. I felt fired up, so yeah, we take game 1. Let's jump into game number 2. So in round number 2, we are going to be bringing in our Dusclops lead. We have our Medicham as, I guess somewhat of a safe swap. Not really. Definitely not against this team. And then we are bringing Mawile because he had 2 things in that round weak to Mawile, like Cresselia. And Mawile, as you guys know, will shred through Cresselia. So we're going to be leading Dusclops. And look at that. He leads Cresselia again. So this is a pretty solid matchup for it. Those confusions, as you can see, though, do hurt quite a bit. Even though Cresselia is very weighted on bulk. As you can see, Shadow Punches aren't even doing that much damage. But so does our Dusclops. Our Dusclops is very heavily weighted on bulk. So these Aurora Beams won't do much damage, but we want to make this a positive matchup. So we are going to block. And we are now even shields. But we do decide to switch out into Mawile. Trying to be cheeky, but he does switch into his Poliwrath. And you guys saw earlier what Mawile was able to do to a Poliwrath. So we're going to actually try to go for the cheese again. And we are able to get to it. But is he going to shield? That is a question. And he does. Smart player. All the opponents today, guys, have been extremely smart, extremely good. They know when to shield bait. They know what move is what. They probably count everything. He knows, guys. But here we also know that it's a power punch, and we also know we can finish off this Poliwrath, and we'll be somewhat okay against his Cresselia, which is going to be coming in. Or actually, no, it is actually a Dusclops. So this is a really, really bad scenario for us. Because in order to win this match, we have to land the Psychic, and we also have to farm down his Dusclops. And in fact, we do. We make a switch immediately so that he cannot farm any more from our Medicham. And at this point in time, we have to commit to the farm down in order to feint down his Cresselia, which we do. We use a shield. He brings in Cresselia, which had an Aurora Beam ready, but we do get the CMP there. And he brings in his Dusclops again, and we are able to finish it off with a Shadow Punch, and we take this round 7 2-0. Now, just as a note, guys, we did actually play out a 3rd game, but he did have issues in round number 2. So the way I'm gonna put this is, we had a tournament manager or tournament host, organizer, whatever you want to call it. We had one come over to our table because we were the last people to report, actually, because my opponent Jambibo was pretty frustrated with that outcome of game number 2, because he thought that CMP wasn't random anymore. We both had the updated version, and because this update was just thrown in there. Not everyone knew like how CMP worked now. So he thought because I gave him CMP in this game that he should have had it on the Aurora Beam with the Cresselia there in the end against my Dusclops. He thought his Aurora Beam was going to come out first, but because the new update, CMP is now random, or it rotates each time. So I get CMP, then they get CMP, then I get it, then they get it, etc. Or it's random. We don't know 100% yet, but tournament organizer had said it's a coin flip, and the match would be too risky to replay because, well, the outcome could be different. So he considered it a coin flip, which it is because, well, CMP is not the same anymore. So we do take the set 2-0, but he did actually end up winning game number 3. So at least he can have that to take home with him. He can take a win off me. I'm okay with it. I just wanted to clarify what happened in this round and why we held up everyone for about half an hour after the tournament was supposed to finish. And that is why. If any of you out there who went to the tournament are watching this video, that is why the last round was held up for so long. So yeah, I apologize to Jambibo, but you know, it happens. The new update, CMP is not random. There's no such thing as coin flips for CMP anymore, I suppose. It's all down to the game, I guess now. So yeah, that wraps it up for this tournament recap, guys. I know it's been a very, very long hour video. Apologize, but there's 21 battles played out in this video, and each battle lasts about 3 minutes long. So that's that. We end up only taking 1 L, and we won 6 best of 3s, guys. So that many wins, 6 wins, 1 loss. We played extremely well in this tournament. I'm very, very thrilled with how this tournament played out. Lots of tough competitors, guys. People were not kidding when they said that NYC is one of the top 3 for competitive PvP players. I really enjoyed it. The tournament organizer, or the one of the judges, was extremely nice to me afterwards. Basically said, appreciate you for understanding the outcome, and you know, not being hostile in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for hosting. Big shout out to the Pogo NYC hosts. They were extremely helpful in making this tournament possible, and they gave us some cool pins to take home with us, so that's very, very nice. And a $100 I think it was $100 iTunes or play card, depending on who the winner was. And guys, I'm going to reveal the winner right now. Time for bongos. Where's J Devin at? It's bongo time. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to do a drum roll, but the winner is in 3, 2, 1. Bam bam! Congratulations to Quimby for sweeping the NYC Pogo tournament. 7-0, undefeated. Had to beat Valorash to do it in the finals. Congratulations to the man. One of Taco's friends on stream. Quimby won the 7-0 tournament in NYC. So congratulations again on the win. That is a massive feat for the start of season 2. And I'm sure he's happy. He's almost challenger ranked just off of that. I'm about halfway through rival from that tournament, because obviously I waited it. And I only took 1 loss, so I'm very, very happy with that. Overall, I did want the win, but you know, that's extremely tough to do, especially at a tournament like this with these competitors. But yeah, overall had a very, very awesome day. Was able to grind in NYC a little bit afterwards. Man, you guys are the NYC community and grind area is so amazing. So many stops, so many spawns, so many lures. It's just incredible. So for any of you guys who want to come out to an NYC tournament, please do. Oh, and also I appreciate the few fans I met there. We got some pictures. I said hi. I said what's up. You know the deal. You know who you are. I really do appreciate you guys for coming up and saying hi. And getting pictures. It's very, very humbling. This is all a new experience for me. At GoFest, I had the same experience, but it's still like surreal to me that people want to come up and take pictures. Like, it's crazy. But I really do appreciate it, and it was very awesome to meet all you guys. So yeah, appreciate that. The experience was amazing. The tournament was amazing. The competitors were very nice. Yeah, this trip was like a 10 out of 10. I was only able to spend like the entire day there. I didn't spend overnight there. I went home immediately after. I had school. Like the next morning. So priorities. But yeah, a very fun tournament. I recommend it for anyone who wants to make the trip out. Next time, I might make the trip out. We'll see. But yeah, that is it for my recap of the NYC Pogo 108 person tournament. Amazing result. I hope you guys learned from this. If you guys did, please don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, follow me on my Twitter, follow me on my Twitch, support on Patreon if you would like to. It is completely up to you. No pressure whatsoever, but it is extremely, extremely appreciated so I can make it out to more tournaments in Season 2. So, yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day. And until the next video, I will talk to you all later. Peace out.